In the headlines to the CBC NewsNight, the Barbados Port Inc. promising to address concerns raised by boat and pleasure craft operators who use the careenage. Operators in the public service transport sector supporting new regulations which include mandatory training. Canada pledges over $5 billion to help Barbados and other Caribbean countries build climate resilience.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome to the CBC NewsNight. I'm Wendy Burke. A public service vehicle operator charged with driving his van in a manner that caused public outcry is to appear in court tomorrow. 42-year-old Corey Simmons of number 60 Prior Park St. James has been charged with driving other than on the left, driving without due care and attention, and driving without reasonable consideration for other persons using the road. Last week, footage was captured of a ZR driver driving on the other side of the road while overtaking another vehicle. Acting Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw addressed the issue at a press conference yesterday, called to announce new regulations for PSV operators. She noted he had his permit suspended for 14 days pending an investigation. And she's encouraged the public to send footage of bad behavior to the relevant authorities for investigations to be conducted.
All of us have been alarmed by the behavior, and I think we have to allow due process to take place because the investigation is not yet complete. But in the interim, while the investigation is taking place, there is that 14-day suspension of the permit so that the individual is not allowed to be able to be on our roads to endanger anyone else in that way.
Meanwhile, head of the Special Operations Management Services, Senior Superintendent David Welch, says the new regulations will be a win-win situation for all involved.
We welcome the move too, that where persons within the industry also can actually assist in policing themselves. We believe that within what is happening here and what we are seeing here, especially with training, that can only go towards regularizing the industry and having, as I said, a real positive reflection on these things. But we are here to work hand in glove with anyone, whether it be training, whether it be enforcement, especially within the sector. We are not the enemy.
Some operators in the public service transport sector have thrown their support behind new regulations and mandatory training set for them. And they've praised the move by government officials to clean up the sector. A CBC News team visited the Constitution River Terminal today and heard from some of the operators.
If they do not implement these rules and regulations that they are bringing before Parliament, then this would be an exercise in futility.
The sector really wants shaking up because it is a business, it ain't no racket for nobody, and how people getting on nowadays, it's getting out of hand. It's really getting out of hand. And me as an old-time person dealing with it, I would like to see it shaking up.
Those of us who are trying to do our best or trying to live up to the rule is getting unfair by those who do not care.
I see as a stepping stone in a good way, you know, and bring the sector into control, because I believe that it is time enough that the minibus operators and the other operators, you know, start to look at it as a business and not just, you know, come here and play the fool.
A strong recommendation tonight. Owners of commercial buildings in the city insure their properties. It's coming from President of the General Insurance Association of Barbados, Randy Graham, days after the 14th anniversary of the Campus Trends tragedy. 6 young ladies died from smoke inhalation during that incident on September 3, 2010. Mr. Graham says insuring properties is strongly recommended to allow for payments of losses and damages. He tells CBC News as the law stands, while having motor insurance is mandatory, property insurance is not.
You can have a property with a storefront or a residential property and not have insurance on it. It is possible because persons choose whether to buy the insurance or not. Of course, we strongly recommend that whether it's residential or it's commercial, that person really consider putting insurance on the property, because if something happens, something happens in the storefront and people get injured in the storefront, your insurance policy would cover the damages relating to injury if the owner is negligent or liable, and those persons injured have to be compensated, right? And that's why we think insurance is a good option. So we do strongly recommend that if you have a commercial building and you're going to be renting it to tenants, that you consider the use of insurance.
Mr. Graham described the tragedy at the Campus Trends boutique located on Tudor Street, the city, during a botched robbery as a sad day in the island's history. He explains owners of commercial properties and store owners have a duty of care to make sure their properties are safe for customers.
If you're renting the building and you don't own the building, you can still buy public liability insurance for your storefront that will protect you in the event that any person coming into your property to do business is injured by negligence. And then the public liability policy for the renters will still cover those renting the storefront properties.
A buildup of sand at the entrance to the careenage is creating problems for boat and pleasure craft operators. And the Barbados Port Inc. is tonight promising a permanent solution to the issue. Rachel Agard has that story.
The sand at the mouth of the careenage is piling up again, and boat and pleasure craft operators are worried it will make it difficult to navigate the channel. Ralph White from Bill Fisher Deep Sea Charters says the sand is being pushed into the entrance by Mother Nature.
At the beginning of this year, we brought this to the attention of the authorities, and it took a little while for mobilization. Mobilization commenced about a month before Beryl. Beryl came, they had to stop. Pile of sand was left, but they had no choice. They had time to move it out because they lift it, they dredge it, and they move it out. And it all went back in there. And right now it's a marine hazard.
President of the Barbados Boat Owners and Tourism Services, Andrew King, says the Barbados Port Inc. helps, but believes more assistance is needed.
We now are getting ready to put some beautiful buildings there. We're going to put back the boats there. But when the construction is finished, we still have the challenge of the sand buildup. It really needs to be addressed.
Marine surveyor Malcolm Thompson, who also traverses the channel, says the buildup of sand is due to work along the south coast. And he says while dredging is a solution, a more permanent fix needs to be found.
Because of the pileup of the sand in the channel is a navigational hazard, because under the keel of the vessel we are experiencing in some areas less than 5 feet of water to navigate, and in some areas you could get as much as a foot of water. That challenge will cause vessels to actually run aground. Vessels has to navigate more on the starboard side when they are going out, and to the port side on entering the channel.
Executive Officer of the Barbados Port Inc., David Jean-Marie, says they are actively addressing the accumulation of sand at the entrance to the careenage and pursuing a long-term mitigation solution that will not hinder boaters. In a statement, he adds since 2016, the port contracted marine engineers Beard & Associates for the design and construction of a structure to address the ongoing sand accumulation. A survey was conducted and it was determined even with the installation of a groin, sand removal will be necessary by dredging every 2 to 4 years. The area was first dredged in 2021 and more than 5,000 cubic meters of sand removed over the past 6 months. But Mr. Jean-Marie notes as of late, the buildup has been continuous, requiring more frequent dredging and at significant cost to the Barbados Port Inc. On September 6th alone, an estimated 300 cubic meters of sand was removed and landed. According to officials, the sediment is made available for beach rehabilitation. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Coming up, billions of dollars pledged to help Barbados and other Caribbean countries build climate resilience.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Morning Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morningbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Barbados and the region is set to benefit from the first ever Climate Finance Access Network Advisor Training Workshop. And Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment, Senator Chad Blackman, says Barbados has already taken significant steps to address threats posed by the climate crisis. These include advancing the country's renewable energy goals to championing initiatives like the Blue-Green Bank and the Bridgetown Initiative. However, he says there is still a complexity of accessing climate finance, but such initiatives will augur well for the country. And with the input of CFAN advisor Shamora McNee, who is providing essential support in developing proposals across key sectors such as agriculture, fisheries, and household resilience, Barbados is well on its way. He was speaking during the opening ceremony of the CFAN workshop.
By embedding highly skilled advisors within our ministries, CFAN is building that local capacity necessary to develop projects that attract climate finance and enhance that necessary resilience that we all talk about. And therefore, I'm proud to say that Barbados is directly benefiting from this initiative through our embedded CFAN advisor, Ms. Shamora McNee.
Further, Canada acknowledges climate change is disproportionately impacting the most vulnerable countries. And it has pledged $5.3 billion to help Caribbean countries to build climate resilience and donated a further $16 million to establish the Loss and Damage Fund. This is according to Senior International Assistance Officer at the High Commission of Canada in Barbados, Natalie Hutchinson. She says CFAN responds directly to capacity constraints in accessing climate finance faced by small countries by building institutional capacity and the knowledge to navigate the climate finance landscape.
Canada is working proactively to resolve long-standing issues that developing countries have faced in securing support from existing funds, including by prioritizing simple and rapid access for the most vulnerable to climate change, such as SIDS. While Canada is working to support top-down improvements to the climate finance architecture, we also recognize that it's equally important to support bottom-up capacity building, and that's why we're here.
Government is refuting what it says are false and misleading claims in a recent article in the press calling for it to give more details on outfall for South Coast sewage system. In a statement, it says assertions about the cost of the temporary sewage outfall and the status of the proposed permanent outfall project are inaccurate and misleading. Government has sought to bring some clarity, noting the temporary sewage outfall was completed at a significantly lower cost as claimed. It says the total cost of the project was $7.5 million Barbados dollars and not the inflated $84.6 million quoted in the article. Government notes the loan application to the Caribbean Development Bank for a permanent South Coast outfall project was indeed approved in January 2020. However, due to various factors, including the high cost of the initial bids, it decided to explore alternative solutions. Government says all efforts to pursue the CDB loan ceased later that year, and the bank was officially notified on October 2nd, 2020 to cancel the loan application. It says it remains committed to addressing the challenges posed by the South Coast sewage system and is actively exploring alternative solutions. The Barbados Fire Service has evolved over the past 69 years, with the entity now solely associated with addressing fires. Officers in its training program, aside from being trained as basic fire officers, are also taught to be emergency medical technicians. Station Officer Damien Bain says this ensures these professionals can administer pre-hospital care when responding to incidents until an ambulance arrives. He says training has expanded over the years and will continue to be upgraded to meet the requirements of society. Station Officer Bain was a guest on CBC TV8's Morning Barbados.
one of our goals, especially when you look at what our motto is, excellence through service, is that the service that we provide to the public, it is always changing. There's always a different need. And our department is committed to meeting that need, and that starts with how we train our officers.
A week of activities is planned for Fire Service Week from September 29th to October 5th. It will be observed under the theme, Acknowledging the Past, Acclaiming the Present, Adapting to the Future. The Barbados Cadet Corps held its Merchant Marine Memorial Service over the weekend and laid wreaths in honor of those fallen seafarers. The service was held at the Military Cemetery in Bay Street, St. Michael. At 1600 hours, the guard and sentries were in place to welcome the Commandant of the Barbados Cadet Corps, David Dowridge, Chief of Staff, Acting Lieutenant Colonel Carlos Lovell, and Merchant Marine Dyson Howell. A minute of silence was then taken, and the last post was played. The young cadets then handed over the wreaths to the High Command to be laid, along with Merchant Marine Dyson Howell. The cadet band performed a selection before the singing of I Vow to Thee, My Country. The other elements of pomp and ceremony continued before the main party departed the military cemetery at Aquatic Gap.
We are your voice, the 2024 Parish Ambassadors of St. Peter.
Did you know that Barbados has a child protection bill?
The Child Protection Bill acknowledges the connection between child abuse, neglect, and mental health issues amongst our youth.
The bill gives support through mental health counseling to children who have experienced trauma or are living in challenging circumstances.
By addressing the emotional impact of abuse, we can assist children in healing and building confidence, giving them a voice to speak up and speak out. Let's all protect the children of Barbados, the gems of our nation.
And it's sports time now, so we go over to the Sports Center and join Anne-Marie Burke.
Hi, good evening to you, Wendy. We begin with news of cricket. After a short break, the Republic Bank CPL resumes tonight with a key match between host St. Lucia Kings and the star-studded Trinbago Knight Riders at Darusami Stadium. Both franchises lost their latest fixture, and therefore they're both aiming to avoid another defeat. The Kings have been sent into bat, and a short while ago they were 40-for-1 after 4 overs. But the Barbados Royals cricketers are on island getting ready for tomorrow's first home CPL match against the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons. But they took some time out from training to engage with the girls who participated in the recent Barbados Royals Girls Cricket Club summer camp. The girls were able to make some mingle with some of the well-known players from the Royals men's and CPL 2024 champion women's team. It was also the occasion for the girls to receive their certificates of participation from some of the Royals key players like Jason Holder, Trishan Holder, and skipper Rovman Powell. In addition, the girls will be given free access to all of the Royals' upcoming home games at Kensington Oval. In a special question and answer segment, Royals women player Trishan Holder shared some words of advice to the young ladies.
It's 100% possible to balance school and cricket, and obviously you don't want to give up on cricket because sport helps, evidently. So just stick to it and you'll get through it.
Now, CEO of the Barbados Royals franchise, Jake Lush Macram, says he's pleased with the work being done with the Royals Girls Cricket Club so far, as it is meeting the mandate of developing young female cricketing talent. We take a short break here and return with road tennis.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Morning Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morningbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
And we're back. Now, the quarter-final lineups in the Barbados Road Tennis Open have been cemented after the round of 16 matches were completed at Gall Hill in St. John. Marvleen Neblett, Maria Cumberbatch, Gaylan Edwards, and Sheldon Waldron all made it through to the quarters in the women's section, while number 1 seed in the men's, Mark Venom Griffith, is also through. CBC's Damien Best reports on the men's games.
Let's get into the heat of the battle. Anton Lilman Daniel in the far court versus Dwayne Hope. Hope leading 10-8 in the first game. Look at the master of shot selection in Barbados, wielding that racket. Hope praying for a line call that wouldn't come. Well, fortunately, most of Hope's points were compliments of Daniel, who was guilty on a few occasions of some unforced errors. But once Daniel completed his analysis and angle of approach, it was edge of your seat entertainment. Daniel with relentless forearm drives until Hope's backarm fails. The crowd fully engaged. Daniel was up 19-17, then Hope did well to level at 19-all before Daniel went on to take the first game 21-19. Change of ends for the second, and Daniel showcasing all of his abilities down the line with authority. Then this shot summed up the mastery of the little man. Injection from backcourt. Nasty, nasty, nasty. This one done and dusted in 2 straight at 19 and 14 in favor of Anton Daniel. Davian Forsyth Taylor in the red shirt next. He won his first game at 21-17 against Antonio Yearwood. Then when it looked like Yearwood would go away meekly, he was defiant. The game was locked at 21-all before Yearwood eked out a win to stay alive and force a third and decisive game. In the third, Taylor now going back to his natural aggressive play, out the middle of the racket, cross-court winner. He would go up 10-6 at the turn with the finish line looming. Yearwood into the net. Give him some credit, Yearwood did sparkle briefly. A long rally, repelling all that Taylor had to offer before Taylor picked out the top of the net. Road tennis at its finest. But Forsyth would revert to the element of his game that proved fruitful. Sweeping forearm at pace. Yearwood's racket, not long enough. Taylor marching into the quarterfinals. Yearwood too long on the return. 21-17, 21-23, 21-17 the scoreline. Curtis Jones and Sean Spencer in the red and black also went the distance, with Spencer taking the first game at 21-17. In the second, we go Spencer moving the ball around smartly, but then the unforced error. Jones would take that second game at 21-16. His ability to qualify the ball time and time again meant it was a matter of who would blink first, and Spencer was guilty at a vital juncture of the game. The margin for error was slim in the third, with these two equally matched. Spencer, with an open court, pings this one off the net. Horrible miss. Leading 9-8, then 10-8 at the turn. Jones would be pleased in the driver's seat and headed to the next round. Fast forward up 17-13. It should have been over sooner, but errors from Jones allowed Spencer to draw closer before he closed it out to advance 21-19 over Spencer. On to the feature encounter, Mark Venom Griffith in the pink sneakers taking on Kurt Aline. Aline came into the arena with the intention of crushing the #1 player in Barbados, and thus his first point was celebrated by the crowd, who seemed to favor the underdog. But a reality check would follow, and Griffith took the lead at 10-6, transitioning to his forearm and repeating the dosage before the error from Aline. He followed that up with a sublime backarm drag that underscored his ability and disdain for an overzealous opponent. Aline taken to market 21-6. The second was more of the same, except Aline managed to escape a double sow. Venom rampant, sending Aline packing at 21-10. Easy assignment. Mark Venom Griffith into the quarterfinals. Damien Best, CBC Sports.
And thanks, Damien. Wendy, that's my first half in sports. On a return, I have news from the Prime Minister's Cup.
Okay, we'll wait for that football, Anne-Marie. Well, up next on CBC's Newsnight, the Business Report.
St. Philip, loud and proud, we are your 2024 Parish Ambassadors.
Did you know about Barbados' Child Protection Bill?
The Child Protection Bill establishes procedures for a situation where a child leaves or is taken from a foster home or child care center.
To ensure a safe return of the child, authorities can request a court order. This prompts an investigation into why they left and their placement in a secure location during the process.
Once the investigation is complete, the child's future placement will be decided on.
The Child Protection Bill is essential for providing all children with a safe environment and a promising future filled with hope and opportunities.
Let's all protect the children of Barbados, the gems of our nation.
Barbados International Business Association, BIBA, and other institutions are being urged to partner with the government to establish a research entity which will help guide policy on how best to attract and retain global businesses to the island. This from Minister of Energy and Business Development, Senator Lisa Cummins, who says the body will replace the regional negotiating machinery. She was addressing the launch of the Global Business Week 2024.
I believe that the time has come, together with institutions like BIBA and the government of Barbados, for us in this space to begin to move beyond advocacy, to spend some time dedicating research into what the opportunities are for jurisdictions like Barbados in the area of attracting, retaining, and replacing business, and looking at what our strengths are, where the opportunities are coming from, where the global business community is going next, and how we position this amazing domicile that we have built so far and are revising even further with new corporation tax rules, new business facilitation entities.
And that's it for tonight's business. When we return after the break, weather news. And we say welcome to Selma Green. Selma, what's the weather picture going to be like over the next few days?
With the forecast, and we're taking sunrise and sunset. Sun will rise at 13 to 6 tomorrow, and the sun will set at 2 minutes after 6. Tomorrow, first daytime high tide will be at 16 minutes past 10, and the first daytime low will occur at 12 minutes after 1. No change in sea conditions, calm to moderate in open water. Swells will peak at around 1.5 meters. And the winds have shifted a bit. Winds are coming in from the east-southeast. Wind speeds will remain like 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. And I did say to Wendy that we're going to have mixed weather conditions across Barbados tonight. It's going to be cloudy to the north. We're expecting moderate to heavy showers, whilst for the rest of the island, we're expecting clear skies with very few showers. And over the next couple of days, we anticipate localized showers here in Barbados because of instability in the area. So we're expecting a blend of sunshine and showers. And of course, on Saturday, that wave comes in. So we'll look forward to that and see what conditions it will be bringing our way.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Morning Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morningbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
And we say welcome back to Anne-Marie Burke.
I promise you some football news, and this segment of Let's Play Ball will feature a team that has some of the youngest players in the Prime Minister's Cup. Let's play ball. Here's a look at the teams gearing up to do battle in the inaugural Prime Minister's Cup. A trip to Haynesville, and we found hard at work the boys from United Stars Alliance, a team of young and upcoming ballers.
This team was on the 15th, on the 17th going into COVID. So by the time the football we started, they couldn't play junior football anymore. So we decided to enter them into the 3rd division. They came second last year, and this year they came second again in 2nd division. So the back-to-back promotion, that's how we kept the core of our team. We've lost some players, as you know, but we've kept the core of our team.
That's the man behind them, head coach Emerson Haynes, who's charged of leading his players through the cup competition in Group F with Empire Martindale's Road and Cave Hill. One thing's for sure, his players are committed to putting in the training to be well prepared.
Well, so far we've had good numbers. We have good numbers. You know there are some guys who are going to have to work some days. So we're having between like 15 to 20 players each session. So this is really going well. The sessions that you can see are very intense, and that's what we're going to be trying to play when we play the games, as intense as possible.
Intensity is a strategy Stars will be coming with, especially pitted against some of the stronger teams. Haynes does have high expectations for his side.
I'm what is called quietly confident. Yes, I believe we can do well. I really believe we can do well. It's a very young group. The average age of this group is like 17, 18. Most of the guys are that age, 18, 19, 20s. We have a 15-year-old in the team also. So experience is going to come to it, but as I said, this is a team that just got back-to-back promotions, okay? So we expect to do pretty well.
So at times, youth does trump experience, and with the youthfulness of the United Stars Alliance, watch out for them, probably producing some upsets in the ongoing Prime Minister's Cup. That was Let's Play Ball. We just got some insight into the teams gearing up for the inaugural Prime Minister's Cup. And that's it for sports. Back over to you, Wendy.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. I'll be sure to take in some of that cup action. We'll return after the break.
From the heart of Barbados, we are your 2024 St. Thomas Parish Ambassadors. Are you aware of the Child Protection Bill of Barbados?
The Child Protection Bill focuses on the best interests of all children in Barbados, with particular attention to those who are most vulnerable.
Furthermore, it emphasizes the importance of proper care for children under 12.
Remember, if a child is left unsupervised for an extended period, it can be considered an offense and lead to legal consequences such as fines or even imprisonment, as it puts the child at risk.
By prioritizing the well-being of all children and holding adults accountable, the Child Protection Bill builds a safety net for Barbados' most precious gems. Let's all protect the children of Barbados, the gems of our nation.
Thanks for viewing. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.